Why do we stay quiet? As each day passes, we are pushed back into oppression. The same factor our ancestors fought against, even in times of their depression.
I look in the mirror and I become defiled, yet I still ask, who am I? They tell me I am greatness, but is greatness really me? Who am I if I cannot succeed? Who am I? This I still wondered. But soon, as the image is presented before me, in the view of black and white, the answer comes in sight. At the minute of my last light, the heartache they feel passes on. The minute they clear the fog and declare me as just a dog.
But the students here really taught me something. They really showed me something. And quite honestly, I'm just so impressed by the way in which they are very grounded in what they want to do with their lives. Their goals are in order. I don't see why every student who I encountered this week will not be able to reach their goals.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Up against any other, and you will see that there is simply no comparison.
The views and opinions expressed on this show or program are not necessarily the views of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Let's talk about love, health and wellness, transformation, yeah, we got it. Discuss your breakthroughs, national issues. This show will take you there, yeah. Taking it step by step, living your best life yet. Getting stronger and living longer. Let's figure out the questions for ya. I need a little conversation. You need a little conversation. When you need a little inspiration, tune into the conversation. Talk about it on the conversation. When you need a little motivation, life is better on the conversation. Tune into the conversation.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the conversation. It's a terrific Tuesday. I feel like I'm re-energized or something, you know, because I just came up like that, you know. The screen is blank. It shouldn't be, Kieran. The screen should not be blank. You should be seeing me on the screen. I hope that you are. Welcome to the conversation, and thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. It's going to be an incredible show today. I am always intrigued by conversations like today's, because I'll tell you, I'm one of the people who say, hey Shay, how are you? And Judy and Sherelle. I'm always intrigued by people who, you know, particularly this entitled generation. This entitled bunch. Who many people feel as though the millennial bunch, you know, that by the way, what is it? What, 25 to 35? Or is it 18 to something?
81.
Anybody after that?
No. 1981.
See, this can be interesting.
81.
It's different.
They don't even know.
81.
It's many, but okay, you know, there's
It's
Generation
81.
Y, but you guys are Generation.
No, it's 81.
You all are millennials. I don't even know what generation they call. Right, exactly. Anyways, I'll tell you what's so intriguing about today's conversation. Not only are they opinionated about everything, and then feel like, you know what I like about them though? They have low tolerance. That's among what this set is. But what is so interesting with this is that the World Economic Forum, other organizations, but that organization in particular, each year does a survey, carries out a survey of people, and in particular millennials, and it's been doing so since about 2009. And what they determine what millennials are most concerned about. In fact, it's sort of pitched this way: the 10 most critical problems in the world, according to millennials. And so, what's going to be fantastic about this bunch They're going to talk about the 10 most critical problems in the Bahamas and globally as well. And so we're going to see exactly where that conversation goes, where their thoughts are, where their mindset is, where their focus is. Are they even concerned? You know, I mean, have they checked out and be like, hey, well, you all deal with that? You know, because there's nothing to do with us. I mean, it's going to really, really be very interesting. I have periodic conversations like this. I think the last time was perhaps Nicole Martin said, good luck, Shenique. Nicole, you know, because you know this bunch. I tell you, you see me fighting not to get a word in. They already rowing, but when, and Nicole, they say they love you. Good day to you, Christy, and of course, Joanne. And so the thing is, though, it's very interesting because this bunch really are future leaders. These are the people who are going to determine what causes we're passionate about, where the focus is. They drive. In fact, I dare say that millennial bunch is the largest voting bloc anywhere, and not just in the Bahamas, anywhere. And so it's going to be quite interesting to see what their thoughts are, and even what's happening now. And this is not a political conversation, but it certainly will give opinion about stuff political, locally and internationally. And about just whatever. I mean, whatever is trending, pop culture, whatever concerns this bunch and where their attention is, then, we will go there. So welcome to the conversation, everybody. Portia is on board. Margaret Elizabeth is on board. Master Control, hello to you. I don't know who is up there, but hello. They always catch feelings, like, you never say nothing to us. They got to be millennials up there. I just want to know if they're millennials.
Shenique, I don't like how you talking so bad.
No, I am doing all that. I do not do all that a little bit. But listen, everybody, welcome to the conversation. There's one gorgeous lady and these three handsome gentlemen. It's good to have you all here around the table. Introduce yourself to us. We'll start with the lady. Introduce yourself to us, please. Give us a bit of an idea of who you are, what you do, and let's meet you.
Hello, everyone. Good day, Shenique. Thanks for having me. Hello, Bahamas listening audience. My name is Gabrielle McKenzie, 23 years young. Definitely a very ambitious millennial. I don't like how Shenique was talking very bad, but I'll speak back to that.
You're all ambitious?
Yes, we are ambitious. We are we are go-getters. I'm currently studying early childhood education. I plan on opening a early childhood center. That's one of my missions in life. So that's what I'm focused on. I work at an accounting firm. I'm an administrative assistant there.
Okay, awesome. Welcome to the conversation, Gabrielle.
Hi, I'm Xavier Knowles. I'm a business management major at the University of the Bahamas. I'm also a young entrepreneur. I'm also a youth advocate and a former National Youth Award winner, the Prime Minister's Cup of 2016.
Okay, well, congratulations. What kind of business do you have?
Well, I have various different ventures. But
this them right there. This them.
Yes,
they have a ton of things going on. Do you all master anything, though?
Yes.
Well,
we're going to get to that.
Okay.
One of my projects that I launched last year is called the Island Hunter. So it's an island-wide...
Free advertisement.
But we're working on that again for this year, next month.
Oh, okay.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. My name is Daquan Swin, entrepreneur. I have a foundation, the Blueprint Foundation. We help young, aspiring entrepreneurs. We change the mindset of them when it comes to opening up business, when it comes to what's next after high school. I have an organic company. I'm focused on organic juice and organic food.
That is another thing I understand that the millennial generation is concerned about. Organic foods,
yes.
Good foods,
yes.
And food security.
Too expensive.
So, we're moving away from the time where now it's the popular fast food trends is now moving into that now healthy lifestyle. So, my company is based around that.
Okay, well, that's amazing. I mean, it's good to hear that. So obviously then this Healthy Bahamas is going to carry on with how old are you?
23.
With young men like you pushing the cause. And you, sir, welcome to the conversation.
Good afternoon, Shenique. Good afternoon, Bahamas. I'm Sherwin Johnson, Mr. Bahamas Nightlife. I'm sure you guys heard of it. The Bahamas Nightlife, which is a website and app. It's a platform for Bahamians to use to advertise their products and service globally. Yeah, we getting there. I am the chairman of Young Entrepreneurs of the Bahamas, which also is an association that helps young business people. You know, we don't have the connections to get stuff done, so what we do is offer resources, help, assistance. You know, people need help getting their business license. They need to know where to go to investors. They need help with marketing ideas and whatnot. So that's what we do. We try to bring new, existing, and future business persons together so that we all could have a commonwealth. And that's what it's about. Millennials, I know you say be ambitious. We're overly ambitious by default, and that's a good thing. That's changing the culture. So.
And the default is the fact that there's so many, the traditional areas are so, number one, oversaturated,
Exactly.
and the opportunities are lacking.
Yeah, millennials aren't accepting the just basic 9 to 5 anymore. You know, our overly ambition pushes us to do things extra because we want to live that, you know, that life that, you know, our parents didn't have, or maybe they did have, but they didn't turn it over to us. You know, so that pushes us to be ambitious and want to do more and just go beyond what society set as the Bahamian dream.
Well, redefining the Bahamian dream for yourself.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And what is this mindset of no or low tolerance?
Millennials don't accept what you say. Before time, you know, like when you go to Sunday school, they teach you a Bible story. You just accept it and you repeat that. Millennials now are asking questions. And you know, we're not just accepting it. And that's not a bad thing because it pushes us to be better. You know, but when I was growing up, they said that we were going to be Generation X. But I think we're proving to them now that we're a better generation than, you know, and I'm sorry to say this because my mom's watching, she's listening, but we're a better generation than the ones before us.
True.
Because we're producing a better product. We're doing things.
I think.
And I love it because, and Gabrielle, I'm going to let you jump in right now, but see, but there's that fearlessness is the most awesome quality.
I think it also has to do with us bringing in the age of technology. Information wasn't readily accessible to our parents and our parents' parents. So when someone told them something, that was the gospel. They had to go with it. Now we can get out our smartphones. Oh, you said October 8th is a holiday. Let me Google that. Let me make sure that everybody is saying October 8th is a holiday, that this is information that is credible. And millennials are doing that now, and they're using that platform to go bigger. We see movements coming forth like Black Lives Matter. We're using it to affect things politically. If the politicians aren't listening to us, if society isn't listening to us, we're going to take two mediums that we created and we're going to use technology to advance ourselves.
And that you have control of the narrative of, and you can drive whatever it is.
That's the next thing too. Millennials aren't political. So
don't look for this.
No, don't
allegiance to any one thing.
Any party. Millennials aren't political. They're fighting for answers for themselves. If you can provide them answers, then you can get their support. And we have millennials that are has pledged allegiance to certain political
parties. Yes, of course, that'll always happen.
But the majority.
But even them, I believe, even though they may say, "Oh, I am this" or "I am that," even them who are enshrined in these institutions aren't necessarily enshrined in these institutions, I believe.
That's true. Yeah.
Now, listen, so of course we're going to go, and this, again, this is locally, globally, pop culture, you know, all of it, trending, whatever, but let's just start, because what the World Economic Forum does is it surveys, and I imagine these are millennials in the United States, so we'll get there. But let's just sort of start locally. And by the way, hello everybody. Christoph says, preach, this is a curious generation. Judy says, be yourself, speak from the heart respectfully.
That's my
Many
mommy.
people...
I thought you see listening.
She listening and watching. And so Joanne is also watching from Freeport, so it's really cool. I see you guys have Kieran just wound up, says when she returns home, she wants to he or she, I don't know if I couldn't see the picture properly, want to come to Nassau with this energy that's happening. Also, hello to you, Clay. Say shout out Bahamas Nightlife. What concerns you, each of you, locally? Again, the survey was done of what concerns millennials, you know, internationally or in the world. But let's just start locally for a moment. What do you think are some of the most critical problems facing the Bahamas?
Who
wants to start?
I didn't talk a lot. So go last.
I'll jump in. I mean, for me, and I really say this. I really say this everywhere that I have a chance to speak. For me, when you look globally, the age of leadership is getting younger and younger and younger and younger. You have people now, 20 years old, 21, 22, are country heads, are representative. Yes, are
Where is
representative.
the Kwan?
You have. I just was reading today. The state rep. What's the young guy's name? I think his last name.
Powell.
Yeah. He just got reelected. He's over 23.
Yeah. Where, guys?
23. That's where is that? That's the state rep in I can't remember exactly.
What, a state in the U.S.?
Yes.
Well, we have
Travis.
Well,
yeah, we have Travis.
But
Who
people
is the
forget
youngest in the
about
region?
Adrian Aubrey as well. I mean,
James Aubrey.
James Aubrey.
Yes.
Sorry.
How old is James?
Aubrey. James is 24.
Yeah, so this is amazing. So we have Travis and we have Travis Robinson and James Aubrey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Look at the before when the election had just passed. When we saw that they were actually on the ticket, it was such of a shock to the whole community.
What they accomplished, what they know, who they could lead.
Because see, that's the response. That's the response from that generation of baby boomer ones and twos who was our leaders today. The response is, what could he know? What could he bring to the table? What input could this person have at such a young age?
So is it then that you all are so daring and willing to go out on a limb for whomever it is that is most appealing to you?
Yeah. I think that was very. It was powerful versus the last election. We see the problem that we have is that older people, and I'm not scared to say this, older people don't want to let go. Mm-hmm. They don't want to let go. And I'll tell you this, they die in power. And what happens is when they don't create successors. So when they die in power, you're forced to go into a position that you don't know anything about. I won't call any names. We had MPs who were running in the last election and few and passed. Mm-hmm. That is a perfect example of not letting go. When we see we have state leaders accepting positions, knowing their state, knowing their position, and not allowing other people to come in and get.
But don't you think now? Would you blame them for not allowing people to come in, or you're necessarily stepping up to take your place?
The thing is, good leaders prepare better leaders. Mm-hmm. Good leaders prepare better leaders, and we're taking it now because we realize that they're not going to let it go. So we're taking it now. I'll let Xavier.
So if I want you to think about this in 2022. You're going to have a lot more young people stepping forward.
I listen to and that's where understand where the PLP is going. Just in the news yesterday, the PLP said they're going after more women and millennials.
Yes, so they're going to go after more young people. Now, this is what I want to see. If MP or a cabinet minister, if you've ran more than 2 times, please step down. So anyone, especially if you've lost, please step down.
So hold on, but you all are unforgiving. What y'all saying?
If you've been in a sport for over 10 years, please step down. Because what you gonna do within the 10 years, you ain't gonna do it in the next 5.
But you have something else. So you're trying to say we can't have no veteran politicians no more?
I don't think that's the problem.
I kind of disagree a little with that. Because
I understand the point of having wisdom and someone to mold you, but if you realize you've not seen much molding of the younger generation, you've had younger people had to force their way and say, you know what, I'm gonna run, and had to be elected. You had no one saying, man, okay, this young person, I would like, I'm molding them to take over in this constituency or somewhere down the line, and this will be my predecessor, and we're gonna mold him and so forth. You don't have that. You see the same person run over and over and over and over again, like a career politician. Politics in this country should not be a career.
But I want to ask something, and this is your conversation. I'm going to let y'all run it. But, and maybe poor example, I don't know. But the United States has, these people 100 and still are senators and still are state representatives, and how come, why in the Bahamas we appear to be so sort of dismissive and not open to that, not open to these veteran politicians?
Go ahead.
I just want to chime in on, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think my colleagues here are trying to say that we're not open to veteran politicians, because the Bible said where there's wisdom, there's knowledge. So we need that. I think the problem we're having now is, like Sherwin would have alluded to, succession planning, and that's one of the major problems. We lack succession planning. We lack mentorship.
But but Gabrielle, is there anywhere where there's succession planning?
I mean, we see that in the church now.
The church is doing succession planning?
We see it lacking in the church as well.
You know, and so is it a Bahamian thing? Is it a worldwide thing? Is it these old men don't want to give up power? Here's why: the Democratic Party is now in a state where they don't know who is going to be who is the presumptive sort of front runner for president in 2020, I believe it is.
That's a Caribbean thing. We see it. I'll make it relative to our personal lives. You grow up in a home, and your mom does not want to let go. You get married, not my mom, not mine. So I'm gonna get,
Yes, of course, yes. Be very smart.
They don't want to let go. The Bible says when you get married, you cling to your wife, and she becomes head. You understand?
That's true. The moms don't want to let go of their sons. You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's relative in terms of not wanting to let go, not producing people to be on their own. And we see it all the time. People 40, 45, 50 living at home. You know, we create that kind of culture.
You create that, and you cause that. That mindset. It's almost like you put your kids or your adult children in this time warp.
Yeah. And that's changing. The culture is changing, and so our parents are becoming shocked. They're saying we're rebellious or whatnot because we don't want to do that. We don't want to stay home with mom. We don't want to go down the career path that mom wants us to go. We don't want to just accept the religion that mom pushed on us when we were younger.
Some of y'all a little extra with that because y'all want to try out like y'all new age and agnostic and y'all think that the sunset rise and set on y'all like.
No, but it's our time. You had your time. It's our time.
The thing is, I mean, to piggyback, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, he said it best. A leader is a flow of information. I feel like today we live in a time where those who lead us right now, who have the experience, who have the knowledge, they don't pass it on because they feel threatened by this new age of millennials where they feel like, I'm about 55 years old. This 23-year-old guy is coming in with a master's degree into my job. If I teach him what I know, what will happen to me?
Makes him even sharper.
The issue is, so what they know and what they hold on to, they don't pass down to us because they feel threatened. But the millennial age and us, the Gen Ys, the Gen Zs, it's not about taking over, But the biggest problem for me is the disconnection. Because the baby boomer ones and twos, which is our leaders now, and then the millennials. The millennials are the ones with the
ones and twos. I've never heard that. I've never heard that.
That's the age of our leaders today.
Okay.
Right? So
the old people.
Correct. So the issue where I feel comes in as well, the baby boomer ones and twos are the one with the knowledge, are the ones with the experience, the ones who led, right? And the millennials are the ones with the new innovative ideas. So the thing for me is the disconnection. Instead of them thinking that we want to take over and not teach what they know, it's a partnership. The millennials are just simply trying to partner with those in leadership positions now to have a more diverse group of individuals when it comes to decision making.
As we go to the first break, I want to know then. Let's look at the two, because we're still on politics for a second. We'll go to other areas locally, and then we'll go to politics abroad. I want to hear what y'all think, but But are you all thinking then that Dr. Minnis, who's leader of President Prime Minister and leader of the Free National Movement, and Brave Davis, who is leader of the official opposition PLP, do you think by 2022 is that the next that they need to step aside? Hold that point.
I can't wait to answer.
Jesus, hold that point. Think about it. Marinate it. By the way, big hello to Clay. Big hello to Danielle. By the way, thank you, Danielle. Danielle says the guy you were talking about, Daquan, his name is Joel Jones, City council member in Michigan. He is 23 years old. Wow. Christy, believe me when I tell you, yes, I should know it. You and Judy, y'all right on point. I need y'all help today. So Joanne says, Daquan, hello, ain't never gonna leave you. Halo ain't never gonna leave you. Who's Halo?
Oh, she's talking about my daughter. She's from grandmama. I have a 2-year-old.
You all moving real fast as millennials, real fast. You 23 and doggone, what the hell you doing?
Well, you can't say that. You can't say that. Back in the day, there was having children from 16, married from 15 and 16.
Married from 14, but 12 and then, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
That's late.
Stay exactly where you are. The conversation, this is a millennial conversation today, talking about things that concern, critical issues that concern millennials today, both locally, internationally, just around the world, and various topics. We're going there today. Stay exactly where you are. The conversation comes back right after this.
More Bahamians are being encouraged to get involved in fishing and farming in an overall view of growing our agriculture industry, putting the Bahamas in a better position to not only feed ourselves, but create a sustainable food chain of produce for export. Hello, I'm Carla Palmer. In the next episode of Agriculture Now, we'll explore the potential of the fisheries sector. Join me on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. for Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
At Miden's Wholesale, the concept is simple. The more you buy, the more you save. Yes, the more you buy, the more you save. This means that at Miden's Wholesale, when you buy in the same group 3 products, you get 15% off, 6 products, 20% off, and 12 products or more, 33% off. Miden's provides you with the largest selection of pantyhose, socks, t-shirts, school supplies, underwear, and much, much more. You can also sign up to be a reseller of BTC and Digicel top-up and to save 33% on your purchase at Miden's Wholesale. We also ship to the Family Islands, and that's not all, because when you shop at Miden's, you can pay your utility bills, send MoneyGram, RIA transfer, and purchase tickets from Sky Bahamas and Western Air. So visit Miden's Wholesale today at any of 3 locations, East Street South, Robinson Road, or Lower Bogey, Luthra. Call 325-4434 or 676-4435.
More Bahamians are being encouraged to get involved in fishing and farming in an overall view of growing our agriculture industry, putting the Bahamas in a better position to not only feed ourselves, but create a sustainable food chain of produce for export. Hello, I'm Carla Palmer. In the next episode of Agriculture Now, we'll explore the potential of the fisheries sector. Join me on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. for Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
Appliances on Robinson Road has all your air conditioning needs this summer, like the Comfort Star 9,000 and 12,000 BTU 13 SEER for just $3.99. Or how about the Comfort Star 18,000 BTU just $5.99? Or how about the Comfort Star 24,000 or 36,000 at the lowest prices possible? We also carry a large selection of air conditioning parts such as fans, compressors, filters, capacitors, or any part you may need. So, call today at 328-2083. We're located on Robinson Road.
Thank you very much, Margaret Elizabeth. Margaret Elizabeth is bringing us back to Kanye West. Heard him say. I don't know what y'all think about Kanye West, but we get to that in a minute. Listen, the question was,
get out.
This millennial generation, and so we agree, millennials are what, 18 to 35?
Yeah, let's say
about 34.
Yeah.
And so, do you all want then 18 to 35-year-old selves, men in their 60s, perhaps even beyond 65, leading or vying for leadership in the next election? What are your thoughts about that?
No,
We'll go around the table.
Go ahead. Personally, no. I would think that if you're 55, you should be planning your descent from anything.
Spending time with your grandchildren.
That's how I feel. My thing is, you've had your time to plan your life up to 65. If you didn't achieve what you wanted, it's nobody else's fault, and you should give somebody else the opportunity. That's how I feel. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be in office, but by 65, that's it. That's how I feel.
So you're saying by 65, you don't want to see, let's say that this is the election season of 2022. The PLP sends their person, which more than likely that will be Philip Brave Davis. The FNM sends their person, which more than likely that will be Dr. Hubert Minnis. You ain't want to see that?
That's what you just said.
Because I'm sure they'll be 65 and over. I'm thinking.
I think there should be opportunities for somebody else.
No, we'll do what y'all want these people, and I'm gonna go around the table. Y'all want them just to sit down back on the side, what?
But my thing is too, though, if they're good leaders, they would put somebody else to make themselves look even better. That's how I feel. Now, well, Davis hasn't been prime minister.
No, he hasn't.
He was close though.
And I ain't good at it. Dr. Minnis, I think if somebody else offers themselves, he would be a good advisor to that person.
I think somebody on the live feed said that, say they agree with you all, like, no, step out. By the way, hello to you, Charmaine, watching from Florida. But they agree. Kieran says Bahamian leaders have not made a way for early retirement, hence why they make it a point to stay in leadership for as long as they can.
Yeah. I have an issue with that.
So you said you don't want those two men don't come to you leading the parties.
I'm not political. I have no attachment to any political party, but give opportunities to somebody else. You've had your time to use public office, and if you haven't achieved what you wanted, give up. That's how I feel.
Daquan, your thoughts?
I mean, my thoughts are, I don't feel like the older leaders should be totally eradicated when it comes to leadership and stuff like that, because experience is the best teacher. They're the ones with the experience. But I do feel that it is past the time. It is past the time when it is
advisors.
When it is just them. Because I mean, regardless how you look at it, we still need them.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like they should be totally eradicated when it comes to leadership. I just feel like we're past the time when it's only them, and I feel like we need, and we from yesterday, we need to move into the time where it's a mixed group, where it's them and us. It's a diverse group. You have different opinions. You have different level opinions. You have the opinion from how things were being done, and then you have the opinion on how it can get done. So it's a more diverse group. So I feel like, again, I don't feel like they need to be eradicated from leadership, but I feel like it needs to be switched into a more diverse group when it's them and us.
Xavier?
I think it's very important to pass on the mantle. So if you look at a relay race, you have one person, they start the race, they give it off to the second, what do you call them?
Whatever those positions
are, the next position. If we had leaders like that in the Bahamas, I take on the mantle for the first 5 years. Then I make it known that I've done my time, and I think this younger person or this person of my age or so forth would be able to take the mantle on further. If you had good succession planning and we actually give up the power, it would be different. If these persons would stop holding on to the power because they wanna get that 10 years and get their pension.
But don't you hold on now, guys.
Dr. Monroe said it before he died. He said he had a dream where leaders died with the baton in their hands.
Yeah,
they were laying in the
that.
casket with the baton. meaning they didn't pass it on. And we see that happening.
Yep.
And that is detrimental to what's going on now.
But okay, even I don't know if leaders are serving 25 years anymore and 50 years.
They just 1 to 10.
Right, and so, but don't you think that 10 is a good thing, coming from the marathon sessions that Bahamian leaders have been, or even Caribbean leaders have been known, or African leaders of African everything?
Term limits
Term
is a good
limits,
thing.
right, and that is coming up now before cabinet to get this term limit thing in place.
I understand, but we're saying 10 years in leadership, but they've already served 10 years under leadership. So it's like, that's 20 years.
I don't agree with Xavier because I believe in a pathway, a clear pathway. I don't see you just coming in to a prime minister's position. You need to work through the cabinet. You need to understand how various ministries cooperate. We don't want to make international fools of ourselves.
Yes.
We want to have experienced leaders. We want to have people that when they speak on the behalf of the Bahamas, they know what it is that they're speaking about. So I would never say get rid of our leaders. But like Shervin, wait your turn. Like all of us are in agreement with succession planning, term limits for prime ministers. But before you become a prime minister, I believe you should be able to experience, to serve, to sit in cabinet, whether it may take you 20 years to get there, but you have that 20 years of experience that you can offer the country. So when you step forward to lead and say, I want to be the prime minister of the people, I understand how national security works. I understand how social services work. I understand the need for national development and how entrepreneurs need stipends to encourage small business owners.
I'm not sure.
The only way our leaders can know these things if they've worked through the system. So I wouldn't recommend you to just elect me as leader of a party and to be the prime minister.
I think we misunderstood what was being said.
Xavier is not saying that.
Term limits
we said
in
both things.
position.
Yes.
In position.
Especially that prime minister position.
Exactly.
In the prime minister
position. Remember now, the initial question was, come 2022, with the millennial generation, which will be bigger, and you all will be a little older and wiser, still millennials, would you be open to the two leaders now? And would you be open, Gabrielle?
Jesus.
For me, it would be looking at both of their platforms, what it is they've done, because we're not going to just forget. We're going to look at it, what it is you've done and what it is you have to offer. Each Bahamian will have to make that decision for themselves. If the person vying for the prime minister is offering this generation what it needs to sustain itself and continue to grow. That's my take on it. I don't want to take it to any political fields.
I'll say it like this. Well, you millennials are going to ask the question. They're going to say, okay, Dr. Menace was Minister of Health. What has he done as Minister of Health? Now he's Prime Minister. In his term, what has he done as Prime Minister? Then we're going to look at, okay, former DPM, Philip Brave Davis. He was DPM. He was close to the leadership. What has he done in his position? Is he able to now take on the country as PM when he was DPM? So we're going to ask these tough questions and we're going to have to make a decision. And then, but you're going to also have a lot of millennials who are going to be like, you know what? And to this, I'd rather not vote. So you had that this year where persons were like, I don't feel like voting. I'm not ready for the DNA. I'm not ready. I don't want to go to PLP or FNM. I'm just going to not vote. It's going to be very interesting when it comes to 2022 because I've heard a lot of persons saying they're not going to mark their finger anymore.
In 2022, I think the records will reflect, and that will be whether we vote or not. We have, I think, about 2 more years before we actually have a conclusive result for the governing party. And that will be the determining factor whether we say, okay, let's give Dr. Menace another term, or he hasn't provided us with enough to go forward. Let's go with somebody else. I think we still have time to decide what's going to happen. We've seen what the past administration have done, and of course, they're not the governing party now, but that will still reflect in 2022 when we decide
whether or not you're going to decide
whether or not we're going to go with them or not. Yeah.
Judy Johnson says if age is set for employment agencies, then it should be across the board. I feel the older generation should serve as consultants to the younger generation. So she is trying to say, no, they don't need to offer themselves up for in 2022. Yeah. Joanne Gibbs says it's time for them to move on. They always say not voting, but they still do. And so listen, we are going to take a break right now. This is The Conversation. My guests are going to talk about what else concerns them in the 242 here in we'll open the phone lines, by the way. I know you all want to call in. We'll open the phone lines right after the news update at 5. But my guests are going to also weigh in on what else concerns them locally here, and then of course, regionally, internationally, just any and everything. It's a real candid conversation today. Stay exactly where you are. The conversation comes back after this.
Are you having troubles with your laptop or your computer? Need ink or computer accessories? Then give Almighty Computer a call.
More Bahamians are being encouraged to get involved in fishing and farming in an overall view of growing our agriculture industry, putting the Bahamas in a better position to not only feed ourselves, but create a sustainable food chain of produce for export. Hello, I'm Carla Palmer. In the next episode of Agriculture Now, we'll explore the potential of the fisheries sector. Join me on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. for Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels, free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
I can't wait to get to that.
Whenever I was concerned, y'all, but y'all
get off this politics.
Yeah, welcome back to the conversation, everybody. Listen, we are nearing the 5 o'clock update, but I want to say a big hello to the YouTube audience. We are streaming live on Facebook. By the way, share the video, everybody. I welcome your comments. Margaret, thank you. That's Power by Kanye. Yes, but big hello to the YouTube audience. Desmond Russell says is watching from Mangrove Key and he's enjoying it. Dexum Long is watching from Abaco and says he's enjoying the live stream. Hello to you, Kenson Milan. No limits. Bahamas is moving forward. The world is our oyster. Shenique LaFleur says they should only serve as advisors to a younger government. Succession must take place. She also says we need new and innovative ideas to move forward as a country. Yeah, keep the comments coming, guys. I am certainly going to continue reading your comments throughout the show today. And also, of course, big hello to our Facebook audience who are streaming live. So, guys, what else concerns you as this general is of critical concern to you locally as this millennial generation?
I think something that concerns me is opportunities, the lack of opportunity. Of course, that stems from what we talked about before, but millennials aren't getting opportunities to do what they want to do. That's why we're considered aggressive. I'll say this because as a young man, I'm a young professional. I produced a platform, to try and encourage growth, individual economy growth, not just the economy of the Bahamas, but individual economy growth. But there are persons who in power who see it, and he alluded to it, as a threat. Because it's not them, they don't give you the opportunity.
Or knock it down.
Or knock it down. I'll tell you this, I sat with executives who said to me, and I'm using their words, quote unquote, stupid idea, won't work, don't make sense, don't waste our time. We have persons like that in this country who would tell younger persons with innovative ideas that they think wouldn't work because, they're old. And they knock it down. And that some people aren't as strong as others. That may discourage some people, or that puts fire to others. For me, it put fire to my feet. So I'm working towards educating our millennials, to be strong, because it is hard. It is hard. Trust me, you have to accept that you would lose everything. If you want something, you have to accept that you will lose everything. You may lose everything.
Right, or you may not win the first time.
Exactly. Nobody's path is the same. But you may lose everything going after what you want. And that's the position we are. We're fighting for opportunities in the country. And there are so many ways that opportunities can be given, not only financially, but through networking, and support, but we don't do that because they're threatened. People don't want to see other persons do better than them.
But isn't this generation the one that says, guess what, okay, you're not giving it to me, I'm going to get it elsewhere?
And that's how we get aggressive.
Especially because the world is now this borderless place where through the internet you can access whatever you want to access.
Yes, that's what makes us aggressive in the eyes of a lot of people. And what's sad is that you want to include local establishments and local companies into what you're doing because you want to keep it local. But it's the support. We have to understand, and millennials are doing it now. That's why I say the culture is changing. We see millennials helping each other push their business.
Well, there certainly appears to be more business owners in this millennial set.
Yeah, we're doing a Commonwealth push. And that's going to be the difference within the next 5 or 10 years. You're going to see the change because we're actually helping each other with business. I do marketing, you do this, you do that. Let's put together and make this work. You have persons who bake cake, you share that on Facebook, you send a like or whatever, and that's how we're doing it.
So Shay on Facebook says, I don't agree with the lack of opportunity, like you said. I think the Bahamas is just stuck on who you know. I've seen a lot of millennials get great opportunities because of who their parents are or who they know, whereas the other millennials who's more qualified but don't know anyone, they're not getting the same opportunity. You think that's still
a lack of opportunity. There's still a lack of opportunity.
So it's still who you know in this country, eh?
Millennials now are creating, we say it's who you know and your last name. Millennials now are creating new last names, new who you know, and that's what we're doing. It's on a broader scale than it was before, but we're creating our own community where who you know is who you push, and this time it's a good thing. It isn't a hold back or because I don't know your mommy, you ain't from Andros, you ain't from Cat Island. We're not doing that.
Get MPs and you.
We're not doing that. You're part of this network, let's push you. Whether you name Petty Home or your name Johnson, or whatever your last name is. And that's how we give each other platform. And we're doing it. And I'm proud of this. I'm proud and I'm hopeful.
This generation really don't discriminate and don't, it's not much of that, huh? Like you say, the only membership requirement is, you're here, you're willing to work hard, now let's do it, let's make it happen.
Exactly.
Anybody else have a concern or want to perhaps pick up from there?
Yeah, just to piggyback from what he said, I mean, a concern of mine, and it's a big concern of mine really, is a concern of mine and a big concern of mine for me is the limitation caps that is put on young people, especially in the Bahamas. And I think it's done from a young age and it starts in the household.
What do you mean the limitation? Explain that further.
And the most simplest way I could put it, if I wanted to pursue, if I came home as a young boy in high school or primary school and I say, hey, Mom, I want to be a guitar player. The average Bahamian parent would say, boy, don't play with me. I sending you to school. I sending you to school to get an education so you could go to college, you could get a job. The norm when it comes to especially being a Bahamian and a Bahamian household is you going out there to be an accountant, you going out there to be a doctor, you going out there to be a lawyer.
Career fields that are already oversaturated as it is.
Correct. So there's a limitation cap that's been placed on young people, and it puts us at a disadvantage when it comes to economically, because it's a cycle that's repeating. The norm is the average Bahamian going to school, going to college, getting a degree, finding a job, retiring at 65, and the cycle continues. But what happens to that individual? What happens to that young person who says, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to open a business, I want to be a singer, I want to be a dancer, I want to achieve more than the norm of getting a job and getting paid until I'm getting a government job, getting paid for 35 years to get a pension and retire, and I want to do more than that. So for me, it starts in the home, because oftentimes parents limit their children because I didn't do something, you can't do it. So I feel like it's a cycle that needs to be broken, because when you limit the kids from a young age, they're going to grow up and be a part of the system, be a part of the cycle. So when you see someone
and we can see the system ain't working.
Correct. So when you see someone like me pushing after something different, pushing after a greater purpose, because I know my passion, I know what I'm pursuing.
Yeah.
It's like, who do you think he is? What is he doing? Where he's over aggressive. He is I'm trying to do too much. He's a dreamer. But why not dream? The question isn't the question isn't why is your dream so big? The question is
why. I love it. It's not big enough.
Correct. The question isn't why your dream is so big. The question is my dream big enough?
Absolutely.
Because there's no limits on what anybody can accomplish when it comes to being a young person. And especially we tend to let we say, where we're from, the Bahamas. Your environment doesn't determine how far you can go. And I just preach that to young people, because this limitation cap is killing us economically. It's killing us.
All of the creative ideas and stuff is stifling them.
Precisely. If you have a young person, you see you have your child, and they're coming with these big ideas and these big dreams, no matter how big it is, support them. Because believe it or not, the Buddy Heals, the Sean A. Miller, we have so much of that. But because they grow up in households where things pushed after like that are shunned, you never see it. You never see it. So that's a big problem for me.
And the other two are gonna you two are gonna pick up after the news at 5. But let me just go to the live Facebook feed. Dr. Shinray, Carrie Bullard, she lists a whole lot of things of what she's concerned about with this millennial generation. She says she's concerned about sexual health, HIV and AIDS. She's also concerned about your health. She don't think that the millennial generation is taking very seriously your health, the fact that, how you're eating, how, all this stuff. She also says, I want them to not be afraid of making mistakes and to learn from them and to be better than she was, she says. Anybody has a quick response before we go to the news at 5?
I agree with her. Especially the health aspect.
I totally agree with her. So, Dr. Bullard, I'm a part of the Bahamas Association with Sexual Rights. Bahamas Sexual Rights Association. I'm the youth director for that association. So we're forming programs to help young people. Like we have a program coming up called My Baby Can Wait. Yes. So we want to go out into the public, into the schools, and let
So that is discouraging teenage pregnancy,
yes,
or even to pregnancy that is ill-planned. I noticed
planning.
Family planning.
Family planning.
Something we've been preaching forever and a day. Because Lord, these spawning that's been happening.
And it goes into one of my issues that I want to talk
Hold
about.
that
after
right
the
there. I
break.
want you both to hold your issues because we are headed to the news at 5. Everybody, thank you so much for continuing to tune in, share the Facebook video. By the way, YouTube audience, thank you so much for tuning in. I will get to more of your comments. Keep them coming. We are going to take a break right now, though. Before we go to the news at 5, today's show is brought to you by the Ministry of Finance, Almighty Computers, Miden's Wholesale, S&M Uniforms, Money Managers, GM Appliances, and Club One Fitness Center. Stay exactly where you are. The news at 5 is straight ahead.
The views and opinions expressed on this show or program are not necessarily the views of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Yeah! All right. Y'all ready? Put your hands together. Come on, say the chant. You gotta say it. Come on, say it.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
This is ZNS News Update live at 5 o'clock. Good afternoon, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Here's what's making news at this hour. An election campaign promise from the Minnis administration will soon make its way to Parliament. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis confirmed the issue of term limits for the Prime Minister and members of Parliament, he says, is expected to be tabled in Parliament soon. The Immigration Department getting new resources to ease the burden on protecting the country's borders, at least on land. Immigration Director Clarence Russell and his team visited Sandpin Motors on Thompson Boulevard this morning to collect the new vehicles for its expanding fleet that includes trucks, buses, and cars. And from our number one industry, the Ministry of Tourism is hoping the Bahamas can claim 2 top spots in this year's 25th World Travel Awards. The Bahamas has been nominated for the world's leading cruise destination and the world's leading wedding destination. You can help the Bahamas win the titles by voting on www.worldtravelawards.com. The deadline for voting is October 24th. Details of those stories and more coming up in our 2-hour national newscast. It starts in less than an hour at 6 p.m. Please tune in then. I'm Altaviz Munnings. As always, thanks for watching.
More Bahamians are being encouraged to get involved in fishing and farming in an overall view of growing our agriculture industry, putting the Bahamas in a better position to not only feed ourselves, but create a sustainable food chain of produce for export. Hello, I'm Carla Palmer. In the next episode of Agriculture Now, we'll explore the potential of the fisheries sector. Join me on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. for Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels, free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st through November 30th, when a hurricane alert is issued for your area, which which indicates the possibility that you could experience hurricane conditions within 60 hours. You should begin the initial stages of preparation for the storm. When the storm is 48 hours away, a hurricane watch is issued. Once a watch is issued, be sure to get updates from the Met Office via television and radio. Get your battery-powered radio ready. Keep your emergency supply kit, blankets, and sleeping bags handy, and your children and pets indoors. Be sure you have extra cash and that your car has a full tank of gas. Fill all prescriptions. A hurricane warning means that a storm with winds of 74 miles per hour or more is 36 hours away. At this point, secure all windows with shutters and plywood. Place your valuables and records in waterproof containers and store them on the highest floor of your home or in the safest area. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
When a hurricane watch or warning is issued, medical emergency services are placed on high alert. For many persons seeking medical care, defining what an emergency is can be difficult to assess given all that is occurring during the storm. The following basic guidelines are designed to help you assess your emergency. If you are experiencing symptoms like shortness of breath, chest pain, severe pain, disorientation, extreme vomiting or diarrhea, vision disturbance, or suicidal thoughts, you should seek immediate medical assistance. If you are bleeding significantly or otherwise severely injured, seek emergency assistance immediately. Children presenting with symptoms like high fever and extremely listless or lethargic behavior need to be taken to the emergency room immediately. If you are unsure of the extent of your condition, you are advised to seek medical assistance immediately. Share your symptoms with the on-call doctor and get advice as to whether or not it can wait until normal business hours. Remember, emergency care is not a convenient option for basic medical care during a storm. The Public Hospitals Authority encourages members of the public to use these basic guidelines to help decide on whether something is an emergency or not. The authority reminds the public that in the case of an emergency, always call 919 or head immediately to the emergency room. This message is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Put our record up against any other, and you will see that there is simply no comparison.
The views and opinions expressed on this show or program are not necessarily the views of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Let's talk about love, health and wellness, transformation, yeah, we got it. Discuss your breakthroughs, national issues. This show will take you there, yeah. Taking it step by step, living your best life yet. Getting stronger and living longer. Let's figure out the questions for ya. I need a little conversation. You need a little conversation. When you need a little inspiration, tune into the conversation. Talk about it on the conversation.
Welcome back to the conversation, guys. Just having a wonderful little fun time with this bunch here. My special guests today are a group of millennials, but they are beyond that. They ain't just the trifling kind sitting on and you know, talking about what y'all gonna do for us and what the government doing. This one lady and these gentlemen are making their way. They're business owners, they're college students, university students, and they're really pushing and they're very opinionated as well and have a lot of opinions about a whole number of topics and just you know, and so today we're having just a great conversation with them to hear what their thoughts are about this country, about what's happening around the world, about what's going on, not just even politically, but in every aspect. You heard some brought up health, and they are concerned about that. In fact, here it is with Dr. Shinray says that mental health is an issue. We'll hear exactly what this group thinks about that, about mental health, and the fact that, you know, there still is a stigma and attached to being mentally healthy, and that's just a part of, you know, what life is. That's a part of where we all should be looking at and feel no ways about it. you know, absolutely. And so, welcome back to the show. Before we get started again, today's show is brought to you by the Ministry of Finance, Almighty Computers, Miden's Wholesale, S&M Uniforms, Money Managers, GM Appliances, and Club One Fitness Center. Yep, went there today. In fact, I'm super sore. I worked legs yesterday. I worked shoulders, arms, and I believe back today. Y'all could be as young and as hip as y'all think y'all. None of y'all got nothing on me. Let's just establish that. Let's just understand it. Because this bunch, they say if you're 55, you got to be trying to. I mean, I'm not 55. I'm not near that. What I'm trying to say is, they said if you're 55, like go on the side, like where they come from.
Work on your descent.
Jesus. People living longer now,
That's fine. That's fine. Live longer in retirement.
Live longer there. Yes, yeah, y'all ain't easy. Welcome back to the conversation. By the way, if you want to chime in any which way, by the way, the live streaming audience on Facebook, ZNSnews.com official Facebook page, the YouTube audience as well, ZNS Network, they're all chiming in, they're tuned in, and we're happy about that. Continue to share the video. It's good to have you all tuned in and participating. If you want to call in though and put your 2 cents in or ask a question, you're free to do so. 325-5403, 325-5404, 325-5405. We also have a toll-free line, 1242-300-8255. Now, before the news update at 5, Xavier and Gabrielle were going to talk about what something else that concerns them as a millennial generation locally and what's happening.
So in terms of opportunities like we were talking about, I want to encourage parents to allow your sons and daughters to make decisions for themselves, guide them, but in terms of opportunities, don't stifle them. So I'm thankful to my parents. My parents were never the ones that would say, no, Xavier, don't do this. Don't say, no, Xavier, don't do that. I started to become independent at a very young age. I said to them, I want to go to college. I chose a school that I wanted to go to. I said, you know what? I want to go visit the college before I go. They bought the ticket, and I went by myself. My parents never went with me. When it was time for me to actually go to that college, I did all the communication with my my advisor. I paid the school fee. The money came to me, of course, and I paid the school fee. I jumped on the flight when I went off to school. No parents came with me, because they didn't stifle me. They allowed me to grow.
Yeah, but hold on now. So hold on. So me deciding and saying and insisting that no, I'm going to have to go with you if only for the first time because let's say the world is real out there.
Yeah,
that's stifling you.
No, it is stifling. But I'm saying allow my father allowed me to grow. He showed me that you need to be independent because I ain't gonna be here all the time. Mommy, Grammy, no one can be here all the time. You have to be independent. And because of that, I grew up faster. Because I was like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. I know that I need to do well in school. I didn't have anyone really down on my neck because I knew what I had to do when I produce. Once they realized that they basically took a step back and Xavier was producing, they weren't afraid. They allowed me to grow. So allow your young people to grow. I started a business a few years ago, and with my business partner. When we started it, we did not want people to know that young people were behind it because we knew automatically it would get knocked down. So we launched a business, and people were like, "Who are these? Who's behind this business?" and so forth. And we kept it secret for a long time. Only our friends, our very close friends, knew who was behind the business. And we kept it that way for a very long time because people started to pull on you, pull down. Oh, they ain't know what they doing. This ain't gonna work.
You
this
shouldn't
ain't gonna do that.
You shouldn't, and you shouldn't, and this and that.
Yeah, they too young. And I realized because we did that, the business grew. Because there weren't no black labs out there trying to pull us down. But I started another venture, like I said, the Island Hunt. And this time I said, you know what? I wanted people to understand that young people are behind this event. So I came up with the concept, and then I put out a call out on Facebook. I said, I need some young people to help me with this project. And every time I went on the radio or I gave credit to the young people. I let people know that young people are the ones that plan this event from start to finish. They are the ones that put together this quality product. And if you looked at the event, you had persons way beyond our ages who participated and enjoyed a quality event. When they realized there was young people behind it, they were shocked. but I made sure a lot of people to know that young people are able to do these type of things.
Very good. Very, very good. And you, Gabrielle.
Well, one of the things that's going to speak to all of the issues that these gentlemen have is the lack of opportunity. Dr. Shenique would have said about health, STDs, mental health, all of it. You can definitely tie it back to poverty.
So poverty is a concern for you.
Poverty is a big concern for me in the Bahamas, around the world.
Do you think it's growing? You think it's something that's widening?
Growing. It's definitely growing, and that's a problem. That's a major problem. The World Bank, their mission was to eradicate poverty around the world in the most extreme cases, but I don't see it happening. It's growing everywhere you turn. I was reading an article the other day. It was written by Miss Ava Turnquest, a Tribune reporter, in 2014. 2014 was the last time statistics were released on poverty in the Bahamas by the Department of Statistics, and it grew. Over 40,000 people are living below the poverty line.
That's kind of scary to think about, hey? I didn't know millennials focused on that.
Yes, $11.64 per day. Less than $5,000 a year. So when we look at these issues, why crime is so prevalent, why millennials are taking opportunities when opportunities are presented to them, have we ever sat and thought about their environment, the poverty, the condition that they're living in, their mental state? Can you imagine telling a child that's going to school hungry every day that they have to sit down and focus and learn when their stomach is telling them? I mean, I remember going one day without eating because I was so busy and focused on what it is I was doing, and my head was spinning. So imagine a child that's gone days, and it's happening here in the Bahamas, and people aren't paying attention to it, but it's going days without eating, and we want to tell them, focus on school, you're not into anything. And we're wondering why their health is deteriorating, they're not eating healthy. How can you afford to buy healthy food?
They can't excel in the classroom and all that.
How can you afford to buy healthy food on $11.64 a day? When a lot of items in the food store, I was shopping the other day, I was like, okay, a bag of chips, 24 on it, costs $10.
And you don't need and we know you don't need chips.
Cooking olive oil, the healthier oil to cook with costs $13. So I could buy that chip or I could buy that oil. Which one? Because that's 24 days, I could eat potato chips for $10.
Boy, it's interesting.
But it's a serious issue, and it pulls on a lot of the issues we experience. So they're out here. We have persons prostituting themselves just to. Shenique, you're looking at me like I'm speaking foreign, but this is reality. We have parents prostituting their children because selling them to these men and telling them, not even just women, but their sons, telling them, you have to go out here and you have to do what it is you have to do because we need to eat.
In this Bahamas?
In this Bahamas.
Among the millennial generation?
Among the millennial generation. The Bahamas is suffering right now from an epidemic, a poverty epidemic.
So that poverty sort of, I guess I don't know the right term to say, but bracket has widened.
It's widened, and it's causing a lot of the social ills we see now.
Can I interject?
Yes. Go ahead.
I don't want to discredit that poverty is an issue, but if we deal with reality, we would understand that a lot of persons put themselves on the poverty line because we find money for the things that we want to find money.
That's powerful.
I like I said, I don't want to discredit that there are people that are suffering. But when you look at the persons, when you go to social services, persons needing assistance, and you don't want to call their pockets. But if I can see a lady with her hair braid up, and weave costs a lot of money now. I know we've cost a lot of money, and I don't want to say don't.
But Sherman, I don't want to discredit you right now what you're saying, because I don't want you to be misleading either. Who's to say that lady wasn't sponsored? Somebody didn't say because you're in a certain condition means you must carry yourself a certain way.
Let me finish. When you get when you look at these people, it's not only the hair and whatnot. I've been in encounters with persons that need help, but don't need help. Because like I said, they find money for the things that they want to find money for. If you can call me and say, Sherman, I need $20 because we hungry, and then on the weekend I see you in the club balling, I have an issue with that.
I definitely understand that.
That happens more times than not.
But I don't want you. I don't want you to discredit the fact that there is a wide number of persons that do need help, and a lot of these persons are actually talented. They can do their own hair, their own nails.
We need to assess who these people are, who actually are the ones living this life, because whether you believe it or not, Bahamians are good actors.
Very
good actors. And there are people who would take advantage of a system that they don't need to. And that's the problem.
We have adopted that from the United States.
And let me tell you something. The Bahamas is a very rich country. I want you to understand this. I believe that foreigners should be here working because I shouldn't be working. You want to know why I say that? I believe that Bahamians should be the ones creating the companies, and foreigners will have to be the ones working because we're so busy running our companies. That's the vision I see for the Bahamas, I don't, they say, oh, don't let get the foreign workers. No. If I have to be the boss, I can't find workers because my other Bahamian friends, they business owners themselves. They're not looking for jobs. They're
creating jobs.
They're creating jobs.
Boy, can we have if only this set? Just imagine that. Imagine just business owners and creating opportunities. Call us. I see you. I'm coming to you right now, and I know you have something to say. Dr. Shenray says the lack of good decisions is related to poverty.
And let me support that, because you will find that some persons' living conditions may not be up to standard. But if you take, instead of you try to better your living conditions, you go in and you buy a 2015 Honda that's parked in front of the poor living standards that you endure. That's a problem. That's a problem for me. The money that you take, you have some young people, they could save up 10 grand,
Yep.
They could save up 10 grand. 10 grand that they could save up and create a business, put together a business plan and start off something small that could actually keep them afloat. They could keep their day job, until this business comes up off the ground. But they rather take that 10 grand, buy a beat up Honda that someone can come off a Marquis Street and still ride off, and they back in the same position.
We're not talking about these people because the statistics shows that actually persons under the age of 14, so these are minors. So is it because
under the age of 14 what?
Are the highest number of persons living below the poverty line?
But under the age of 14?
Under the age of 14
they're
and
not
under.
responsible for themselves.
It is the parents. Right here what Dr. Shenray say, lack of good decisions. That must be vexing to you all as well.
It is, yes.
Hold that support right there. I want to acknowledge the YouTube audience. We have Siobhan Major watching from San Salvador. She says, yay for the millennials. Step up and be heard. Let's go, guys. Hold that point because I know it's something we discussed. Sherwin, I want to know what you all think about this whole marijuana debate. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Hello to you, Mr. Joseph from Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera. Thank you so much for holding. Are you still there? Hi, Mr. Joseph. Are you still holding?
Yes, I'm still holding.
How are you, sir?
Great. Congratulations to you. Yes.
Can we have it turned up?
Yeah.
I would like to say this, Ms. Shenique. You know what caused the poverty in our Bahamas?
I'm sorry, sir?
He said,
I said, what really caused us to be below the poverty line in this country?
What's the cause?
It's because we are not getting out there and looking for any jobs to do. Why I'm saying this is that I am 44 years of age. I turned 44 years this month.
Yes.
And I have a business, a car wash business that's going on. And young man would sit down under the tree and ask me, give me a quarter, give me $1. And these healthy young men who can do construction, who can go out there and paint, and can do anything. But you know what they do?
Yes.
I'm reading on my MP. The government cannot feed everybody in this country.
Yes, sir.
We have to get out there. And I always live by the Bible. If a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So we can go to social service. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But trust me, at the end of the day, you got to take responsibility for your own life.
Yes, sir, I agree with you. Many of us are too under-aspiring and too lazy. I had this very conversation a few days ago with the fact that we prefer for you to come tell me what it is I need to know versus me going out there and finding out and doing for myself. You're right.
Shenique,
yes, sir.
I probably will say this if you don't mind, right? I am at the age, I know age is no age with God, but I'm willing to go back to school, but I'm looking for someone to help me, BTVI, to get a trade, because where I'm at, I'm not satisfied.
Sir, I agree with you. Guess what? Guess who too is I already finished one certification and I'm in the middle of doing another. I agree with you. You never stop learning. You never stop fine-tuning those skills and honing in on those skills to make yourself better and sharper. Because you heard the expressions and sentiments around this table. Those are the competition and people outside this country. I applaud you, sir.
Yes. So I would ask anyone who can assist me.
But BTVI is paid. What, like, isn't that very, very cheap, sir? Like, I don't get it. How much is
I think
BTVI?
they have an opportunity now for certain courses where you can do free tuition, eh?
Sir, and then why don't you call BTVI, discuss with an advisor how you can be enrolled, because I don't believe it's as expensive as you think, or in some cases you even get a stipend and you can work something out about how that can how you can benefit from that.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely, and good luck with that.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Robert, hi, thank you for holding. Are you still holding? Are you still there, Robert? By the way, continue to call in. I promise I will come to the lines a little bit quicker than I do. So, Dr. Shenique, listen, Dr. Shenique, you are the MVP today. She says a lot of the laziness come from poor food intake. And then, you know, the people is raw with the food intake because they want to eat how they want to eat, Dr. Shenique. You know, they want to eat. So if that is the issue, then what can we say? Dorrington, it says she's enjoying the show. Very, very good show. Thank you very much, Dorrington, darling. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you doing that. By the way, share the video, share. Keep the comments coming. I promise you I will get to as many of them as possible. You, the same thing, YouTube audience, thank you so much. YouTube is ZNS Network, and the Facebook streaming live is ZNSnews.com official Facebook page.
So Shenique, I think another thing that we should talk about is the culture. So you have this culture, like Dr. Bullard said, laziness. You have young persons, some even older. They had an opportunity to go to school. They aren't as educated as they should be. They're given job opportunities, but they look down at the job opportunities and they say, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to sweep the floor. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. They want a office job. They want to sit behind the desk and sit behind a computer.
And could barely form a sentence.
But don't have the requirements.
Don't have the requirements.
So you're saying then also we are not at all, like perhaps the people of yesteryear, prepared to just get our foot in and start and build and work our way up. We're not prepared to do that anymore.
I have an issue. Like he said, most people aren't. It's a lack of understanding. I've made minimum wage before as a young professional, and as hard as it is for somebody to believe, I made minimum wage living by myself, and it was sufficient. I'm not saying that it's sufficient for everybody, but it's the decisions you make. My thing is too, if you make minimum wage, you should always be trying to work to get yourself better, to put yourself in a better position. The minimum wage conversation has been coming up a lot. I agree that, you know, in some cases, minimum wage should be, you know, there should be a standard increase. And there should be a pay scale chart for certain jobs. However, people need to understand, and this is reality, and some people won't agree with me. Minimum wage was not designed to take care of you and a family. It's an introductory wage.
Wow.
So you can't say, oh, I have 2 children, so I need minimum wage to increase when you don't have the requirements to go to another level in a job. Because I'll tell you this, if somebody at minimum wage gets an increase, me as a young professional, I want an increase as well. Because I'm not willing to make just almost as much as the same person who didn't work twice as hard. So we have to look at all those different avenues. And then when we do have an increase and your job is no longer needed, you're gonna complain. But when they give it to somebody who's including that in their position, and you no longer need, then it's an issue, you know. But I want to talk about weed.
We're gonna get to the weed conversation in a minute. I mean, should it be decriminalized? Should you be, you know, how you should you be allowed the recreational use? The medicinal aspect, I think that's totally going forward. That's going to be amazing. But before
and then we
go
gotta
to
talk about inequality.
Inequality in the Bahamas.
We
Inequality.
can't forget but the woman now.
And Daquan, I know you want to say something as well, but let's go to Mr. Clark, and after that we will go to a break. And when we come back, it's you two going to jump in first, and then we'll go from there. Hi, Mr. Clark. Thanks for holding. Welcome to the conversation.
Hello, Shenique.
Hi.
My name is Prophet Clark.
Sorry?
Shenique, you know...
Oh, Dr. Clark.
We get too caught up in handout.
Yes.
Handout. You know, handout. You see, I travel on the Bahamas Olympic team. I went to San Domingo. And you know where they put us to live? They put us in a school, not in a hotel. But then, as we travel along, you know, I saw people on the streets selling this, selling that, trying to make some money. We as Bahamian, we have a lot of things that we can do over here, like fishing, other things, farming, you know. But we get too lackadaisical. We get too lackadaisical. You see, if we put God first, then that's what I'm doing. I'm a prophet now, pastor, and I'm working. I'm still working until God take me off my job. You know, but you see, I got two barrels of clothes from me. You know what I did? You know what I did to them? I just give them away. Just give them away. Give them away. You know, man.
Yes, sir.
So we as women, we gotta use some wisdom.
Yes, sir.
And what if a man know what he should not eat like the brother was saying.
Yes, sir.
So that's all I want to say.
I appreciate you calling, sir, and you're very right. We have, and I'll tell you, Dr. Shinray agrees with you because she says we have been almost taught to be dependent. But it's something we have to, because the world is so competitive right now. Forget the world, look at the Bahamas. And so you can't be Mr. Dependent or Miss Dependent and figuring you can get ahead. Margaret, thank you very much, Prophet Clark.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. By the way, big hello to you, Christy Miller, watching from Houston. She says she always enjoys Gabrielle's insights. Thank you so much for chiming in today. And hello to you in Houston. We're going to take a break. Margaret, you want me to take the break and then come to John Smith, or how do you want that to work? Go to John. Hi, John. Thank you for holding. Welcome to the conversation.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Thank you, sir.
All right, good. I have a question. For me, all right, with the millennium,
yes, sir,
we have a problem. We are microwave generation. We like things to happen just instantly. We don't like to work hard for it. And for me, my problem, what I have about the government as a whole, my thing is we have persons who want to be entrepreneurs and who want to start businesses on their own. But there's so much red tape when it comes to getting a business license.
There is.
And getting things in place. It makes them discouraged, so they don't want to go ahead and even try to say, let me go start a process of getting a business license or a permit to do certain things.
You know, John, you're so right. It's very discouraging, but boy, you got to push past that for your dream. You know?
Correct.
You're right. You're right about that. It's super discouraging. And they were supposed to address that. Like, Sherwin, you have an organization that helps people with business licenses and stuff.
Yes.
Like, wasn't that supposed to be addressed to kind of just make it easier?
Yeah, it has been. I'll tell you this.
But it still ain't easy.
No, but guess what? I mean, people say it's not. And I've been through the process many times in the past year, where it takes only about almost 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks for you to get a license. You know, some people just don't have that patience to you know, and sometimes it will take a little bit more based on what it is that you want to do. And what he said about microwave generation, I don't think it's a microwave generation. I think we are a microwave society. We were taught that things should be quick for us. And that's the problem we're going through now. We see, and I don't want to take it back political, we see with the current administration who's doing certain things in a long-term effect.
They ain't quick enough.
Exactly. So we look at it as bad, because we're used to just patching things up like we do with the potholes. Just pack it in until it rains and it erodes again. And so that's the issue we have. And we're so used to that things should be quick. There should be quick fixes, but we're not used to process.
Yeah, I'm gonna, Sherman, you're gonna raise a point when we come back, and I like your say, I don't know about the inequality anyway, we'll get to that, but Jaquan will have the first word when we come back after the break. By the way, hello to Dolores Fraser watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in today and streaming live with us on YouTube, Dolores. Stay exactly where you are. The conversation comes back after this.
Hi, I'm Stuart Cove, and for many years, I've taken pride in introducing young Bahamians and international visitors to the wonders of our Bahamian underwater world. Our marine ecosystem helps to keep our tourism industry and fisheries sector healthy and lucrative. We must all do our part in protecting it for future generations. And that is why I ensure our staff and customers are taught about the importance of coral reefs. I do this and more to protect our underwater life because I care. Do you?
G&M Appliances on Robinson Road has all your air conditioning needs this summer, like the Comfort Star 9,000 and 12,000 BTU 13 SEER for just $399. Or how about the Comfort Star 18,000 BTU just $599? Or how about the Comfort Star 24,000 or 36,000 at the lowest prices possible? We also carry a wide selection of air conditioning parts such as fans, compressors, filters, capacitors, or any part you may need. So, call today at 328-2083. We're located on Robinson Road.
Meanwhile, Bahamian Shenique Miller-Ubu broke a 16-year-old Commonwealth Games record as she clinched gold in the women's 200 meters final.
The Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale was developed in 1971 by civil engineer Herbert Saffir and meteorologist Robert Simpson, who was the director of the U.S. National Hurricane Center. It was introduced to the public in 1973 and began to be widely used a year later. Inspired by the Richter scale that measures earthquakes, the Saffir-Simpson scale was divided into 5 categories. Originally, the Saffir-Simpson scale also included predicted barometric pressures associated with the various wind speeds, as well as the relative kinds of damage that could be anticipated. However, because those predictions were found to be very inaccurate, just a few years ago, the warning system was changed to include only the wind speeds, which were also adjusted upwards in the higher categories. A Category 1 hurricane has wind speeds between 74 and 95 miles per hour. A Category 2, 96 to 110 miles per hour. A Cat 3, 111 to 129 miles per hour. A Cat 4, 130 to 156 miles per hour. And a Category 5 hurricane will have winds from 157 miles per hour and up. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Agency.
57, yeah, rolling them mighty. We are people of power. It's so easy to see. No one can stop us from being what we are destined to be. We trendsetters of the world, leaders of the world. Every man, every woman, every boy, every girl, rise up and take a stand.
No, you don't.
My time, sure.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to the conversations. Trendsetters and leaders. That's what this crew is talking about today. This millennial generation by Smurf. Yep, absolutely. Welcome back to the conversation. Thank you, Margaret, Elizabeth. Also, again, thank you, Portia. Today's show is brought to you by Ministry of Finance, Almighty Computers, Miden's Wholesale, S&M Uniforms, Money Managers, GM Appliances, and Club One Fitness Center. Absolutely grateful to have you all on board. Here is Cuddy Thomas on, by the way, Dolores Fraser on the live YouTube feed says she's retired now and started packing and as an accounts clerk. Cuddy Thomas says, what about the employers and the employees who you cannot find on payday? It discourages our young when Labor Board tries their best for them, but they can only do so much. Then the court's judgment. The work ethic is poor in the country. That even ain't no debate.
Ethics
work ethic.
On the whole.
Ethics. Whoa. Daquan.
Yeah, I mean, just to go back, I agree with the caller who called in and said that it's a microwave generation versus what my friend here with saying that it's a microwave society. Because, I mean, us as millennials, I'm going to say this, we have this sense of entitlement, like we're entitled to something.
You sound
right
like
away.
Shenique.
Thank you, Daquan. Thanks.
I'm being completely real here.
I don't feel entitled.
Please. You look like entitled sitting over there.
I'm not talking from a personal approach. I'm talking about a factual
generally
approach
speaking,
that's
yes.
been proven. Millennials, the generation as a whole, we have a sense of entitlement. When we come into the workforce, we don't want to actually work from the ground up to get where we want to get. That's not a personal opinion. That's factually proven as the millennial.
When we're coming in with more experience, more qualification,
correct, but
more knowledge.
Yeah, but that don't mean you all got to. So talk about your role.
At the same time, we have this sense of again entitlement.
Yes, you do. Yes.
You know, because we have this concept where, again, a microwave generation where everything is so accessible.
You don't want work for nothing. You don't want process.
Right now
yes.
attitude, like
yes.
things, because again, technology, everything. You could get in access to information like that. We have a right now attitude. So yeah,
that's another millennial right there. Agree with you. That's Casey. Casey watching, and Casey says he agrees. Yeah.
What I wanted to touch on too is us as the employees versus the employers. We live in a time where you have the employees saying that, you know, jobs are here, but there's not qualified individuals to fill the positions. Then you have the employees saying that there's no jobs. But I look at our approach where you have so much people coming out of school and they have no worth ethic training.
Unemployable.
They're coming on the job lazy. They're not performing when they get on the job. When they actually get the job, they're complaining about it before they even start the first day. I'm speaking of what's happening. So as much as we could say that, you know, we're educated, we have all this going on, we have all that, but there's still a huge
it's something. And see, you know what, Daquan, you are ahead of the class in here today.
No, seriously, because we have this sense of
here's why Daquan is the head of the class. Here's why Daquan is the head of the class. Because, because it's true. Because I'll tell you this, the mindset of these, first of all, they're unemployed, and this is generally speaking. Of course, you have sharp, bright minds like you. But I'm saying that they are unemployable. I think it was Dr. Shinray who says, listen, you talk about education is another concern for all of us, I believe. Because they can't even form a sentence and say, hello, may I help you? Yet they don't want to come and no process. Margaret, right? No process and kind of go through the ropes as you did. And mind you, that may be a downfall on people like me and older, because we were like, oh, well, I had to do this and I did that and I told the line and I didn't go into the newsroom back there when I came at ZNS initially. I didn't go there and figure I could compete with who were the big names at the time. I figured, let me slow my roll for a minute, work very hard to prove myself, and let me go and build my name and reputation. The people coming in now, they're on TV for 2 weeks and figure they could come up on Shenique Miller. Oh, how dare you? Excuse me, I earned this, not on my knees and not on my back. Oh, Lord. I earned it by working very hard.
I think we we become and it goes back to aggression because we have to work twice as hard just for the same recognition. And I don't agree with him that it's entitlement. Personally, I don't feel entitled for anything, to anything.
But that's you.
But I will tell you, I will work for what I want and I will get it.
But that's you.
But
See,
and yes,
there is a grouping of
in everything there's a group. Just like we talk about millennials who
the mindset around this table is among the minority in the millennial generation.
We have to stick to facts. We can't go off opinionated. We got to stick to facts.
That's not opinion. That's facts as well.
The fact of the matter is the millennial generation has a sense of entitlement.
The Bahamian people have a sense of entitlement.
Don't go there. That's a different conversation. Don't go there.
Sweeping generalism. But you have to put it in.
No. It's not a sweeping generalism. It's a proven fact that's been proven.
But that's culture in the Bahamas. That we are entitled to anything. Not only millennials, older people feel entitled.
You bet right.
That's a culture in the Bahamas. That's entitlement is our culture. That's not relative to just millennials. It's not. That's something we were born into, where we feel entitled. I'm telling you, that is facts. That's no opinion.
Again, that's an opinionated approach. I'm speaking out factual when I'm talking about. When I say millennials, I mean on the whole,
across the board, yes.
Across the board,
and not just in this country,
views.
Anywhere.
Exactly,
So, yes.
I have my personal views, but it is the truth. We have this sense of entitlement, like somebody owes us something, and I'm just being real, and I'm a millennial because I can say that. We come in with a mindset where we are already in charge in a situation where we just reach.
Yes, I'm telling you, you know what? Can I give Taquan something, please? Because I
see the thing is,
you're right, Taquan.
We have and my family always said it, but I can't really say it on air. But you have to kiss something before you can kick it. And that's just
but millennials say on that run.
But and that's the problem.
That's
but
the
guess
problem.
what? Hold on.
Yes.
You say we have to kick it before we could.
You
whatever.
kiss it before you kick it. Before you can kick it.
However, why? Why does that have to be the process?
Mind you, it shouldn't be the process, right?
And what we're doing, we're creating our own opportunities so we don't have to do that.
And that's why I applaud you all here, and more of you need to do that, because remember when I said about how my approach was when I went in the newsroom, right? I wasn't kissing it, but I also knew, Shenique.
You know your place.
You know your place.
Yeah.
Shenique, work to prove it, show yourself approved. Then you could develop the big ego.
Right.
Then you could say, oh, I qualify to cover this assignment or that assignment. It wasn't given to me.
You know what's different too? When you go into an organization and you see persons who aren't qualified, and you actually... You have the qualifications and you can do the job, but you see other persons ahead of you.
Yes.
And that can be a part of why we do what we do. When you work so hard and you see persons with less qualifications or less work ethics or persons who can't do it, and they have to come to you sometimes to get the job done.
But the difference in that is, see, that's the problem. We don't need to watch the other person. We just need to work to our potential. My thing is, I don't care what job you go on, and I'm gonna say this, I don't care what job you go on. You go on a job in an entry-level position. If you perform at a managerial level, or you perform at a VP level, when it's your time, you will be recognized.
That's
and
true.
you can never stop what's for you.
That's
so
true.
The problem
Xavier,
is,
look at you just chomping on the bits.
I just being completely real.
No, you're right.
The problem with us as a society and young people is we watch other people too much and what they have.
As a society, it even about the young people. As a society,
he just said what I said
about just generally speaking. Yeah, man. Yeah, we watch too much.
I feel like we need to stay in our lane, self-develop ourselves.
Man, shout that little louder, please.
No, seriously,
stay in your lane.
I'm staying in your lane.
No.
And every which way.
All the way overboard.
Before you come and understand what I'm saying. When I say that, I mean focus on you, focus on your development, focus on educating yourself.
I agree.
Because opportunities will present.
What do you do?
Hold on one second. Hold on.
But Xavier,
hold on 1 second. No.
If you don't fight for what you want, that's how you get pushed in the back. Don't when you say stay in your lane, just go by what this
Never
the status.
said that.
You
When I
say
said,
stay in your lane.
But Xavier, not really. Don't misinterpret what he's saying, because I'll tell you.
Self-develop.
Right. And the corner, Xavier, 1 second. Xavier, let me tell you something. Y'all could irk people, you know. People ain't trying to say stay in your lane and just play yourself small and don't work and don't prove yourself and don't demand opportunities. But I'll tell you this. Let's say, for example...
Shenique, you're not saying that.
What am I saying?
You're not saying to stay in the lane and wait for opportunities. Yeah. But when you get in those organizations, that's what they're saying. But it's a difference when you're in there. Trust me, I've been a part of that. Whenever I go into an organization, I operate with excellence. I may not be a manager, but I operate to the best potential. And people, because they are threatened by that, you get pushed down. And yes, what's for you will be for you. However, that's not going to stop me, and I'm not going to stay in my lane. I mean, well, it's my lane, but
the point is, you're gonna try it, exactly. and mind you, that's welcome. But I'll say with you guys as well, you guys have a tendency to sort of want to come there and bulldoze, and like the bull in the china shop mentality. And the thing is, that is not always welcomed as well. Casey says, while Bahamians have a culture of entitlement, it's a notch above for millennials. Qualifications isn't the only qualifying factor for getting a promotion. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So okay, you come in with your masters or your 10 masters. The point is now get that experience and get in there and be this team. But it's a number of things that sort of come together to cause you to say, VP material, the rest of it.
It's so funny. I've seen persons, they have their bachelors, they have their masters, but then they still need the millennial. They still need the younger person to come show me how to turn on the computer, how to copy and how to paste this. But you have the masters and you have the bachelors. Mm-hmm. So and that's the problem. In terms of the stay in your lane comment, I understand. Okay, you have the problem now that Bahamians say, okay, I can stay in my lane. I finish my bachelor's, let me go back to the U.S. and get my master's. I can stay in my lane, I can focus on my education. And you come back, we don't have anything for you. Oh, you're overqualified.
Yes, of course. But I mean, that is why I like this bunch. This bunch says, we ain't looking at the, hey, MP, what you saying? You guys have gone and created your own path and your own way.
And that's the thing. Sorry, not to cut you off. That's the thing. Let me, again, when I say stay in your lane and I stand with us, I mean to self-develop and I mean to educate yourself. Yes, you come back and they say that there's no job here for you. So, okay, why wait on a job? Create one.
Create your own thing.
See, the thing is, again, it goes back to this. We look for, we have this thing where it's all about, okay, I have to come find a job. No, create a job, create an opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. As we go to the break, Patrice Davis says, all of you are right. Working hard is important. You all know in this country, it's who you know and not what you know. Boy, that's so unfortunate that that's still alive today, eh? Listen, everybody who's holding, continue to hold. I will get to your calls as soon as we come back. Stay close. The conversation comes back after this.
As an artist, I travel all over the world, and I find inspiration all around me. In the people, and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty. From Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south, and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels, free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
Quickly, so, okay, hold on 1 second. Guys, listen, everybody is asking for part 2. Shay is saying this needs to be a part 2 because she wants to hear about the marijuana and the inequality thing. Jaretta Carey is commending you, Daquan, for your run in local government. Dr. Shinray wanted to know everybody's name. Let's go around the table once again.
Gabrielle McKinsey.
Xavier Knowles.
Daquan Swain. Sherwin Johnson.
You're going to hear about those. Yes, Casey as well says part 2 is a must. You're going to hear about these names because we're gonna. I think we need to hear from them and a different perspective, different point of view, or points of view. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to Robert on the line. Well, Lakira is on a cell. Robert, I hope the other 2 aren't in a cell. Larika, thank you for holding. Welcome to the conversation. You there, Larika? Hi, Robert. Thank you for holding. Welcome to the conversation. Are you there, Robert? Let's see if Miss Smith is there. Miss Smith, are you holding? Miss Smith, are you still there?
Yes, Miss Smith is still
Miss
here.
Smith,
Smith, welcome to the conversation.
Welcome. Thank you, and I'm saying good afternoon to you and your guests.
Good afternoon, Miss
Smith. Good afternoon, Miss Smith.
I was listening to the young man, and I forget he called his name just now. The one sitting in the middle, the one.
Daquan.
Daquan, that's it. And he made some excellent points when he spoke about, it's not the part about staying in your lane as the others want to, throw it on the ground for that. But he made some excellent points. When you first, come into a job.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are fresh out of college. You cannot expect to get the top position.
Yes, Ms. Smith, yes.
In that job. You have to work and prove yourself. And yes, when you work and you do your best and you work to your full potential, and I was always
you will be
taught
recognized.
that anything
yes,
that is worth doing is worth doing well.
Yes, ma'am.
People notice you whether you think so or not. They do notice you. And when the time comes, any decent person thinking, they will give you what is due to you. But you must start somewhere. And you cannot start at the top.
At the top, yes, Ms. Smith, yes.
I find that the young people today, and even a few years back, they want to come straight out of school and
be the boss, Miss Smith.
Yeah, they want to be this is it. They want the top-notch job. They want to be the boss. They want to make all the money, and they don't know diddly squat. Because I've been in situations where I've had people that I worked under, and I've had people that I worked over, and I know during the years that I was waiting to get to my position, there were people like the other guy said, who will try to keep you down. Now, that is no joke either. That is a fact. So the young man next to him who said that people try to keep you down, that is a fact.
Yes.
But still yet, what really maintains you is your attitude, and you keep on striving and getting yourself in the situation that when your time comes, you will get what is due to you, because there is somebody else watching besides those who are putting you down. And those same ones who are trying to put you down, eventually they will reap what they sow.
Yes, ma'am.
And this I have proven throughout my life, because I have had both of these things I've seen, and both of these things I've had happen to me.
Yes.
And I always was the person who knew what I wanted to do, and I knew how to do it, and I always made sure that I educated myself to do these things.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Don't get there, young people, and think you're supposed to get the manager's job and you just reach because you just come out of school. Oh, yes, I have my bachelor's. Oh, I have my master's. Oh, I've done my PhD.
Yeah.
And you don't have no experience. And if you have to teach, some of the older people how to work the computer. So what? They got to teach you how to work something else.
Miss Smith, I agree with
okay?
Miss Smith. Boy, Miss Smith, the people here saying, wait now, you was good. You start off kind of good, and then you go on and say, if you have to teach the older people, Miss Smith, but I want you to call in earlier with the next show, because I will have this group back. But Margaret says I have 1 more minute, so let me just get one other comment. Dr. Shinray, I don't know how I'm tired being the boss sometimes, but Denari Roll says there has to be balance. The thing with millennials are that because we are moving with technology and they can handle the modern times, that they have the edge. However, maturity, work ethics, respect, attitude, and experience are all values that cause millennials within the workforce. Guys,
yes, we agree.
Right there.
We agree.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle, Xavier, Jaquan, and Sherwin. Thank you all so much. I look forward to part 2. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Thank all of you, Facebook and YouTube, and those who called in. Stay exactly where you are. The news at 6 is straight ahead.
The views and opinions expressed on this show or program are not necessarily the views of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.